Hey, what's up, guys? So, of course, another Doc Beast Daily. So, all right. So, I'm happy to say my daughter graduated from fourth grade yesterday. And I noticed on Facebook, a lot of people's little ones are graduating, whether they're graduating from elementary school, high school, college, graduate schools, and other certification programs. I just want to say congratulations to those little ones. Even kindergarten. My son finished up kindergarten. So he's going to be starting first grade. My kids are exactly 4 years apart, so which is pretty awesome. They're going to be graduating something at the same time. So one thing I thought about this, and I was listening to one of my, I listen to a lot of motivational podcasts, and I like to spread the love and all that stuff. And I just had this idea. We have all these graduation ceremonies, and we have all these complex curriculums. For instance, if you're at a high school that focuses on art, they have the regular stuff that you would learn for your state, and they also focus on art. I went to a high school in college. So I went to a high school that actually was focused on science. It's called Science High School. Newark Science High. Now we're called Newark Science Park. And we focus a lot on science. We had double period of science, whereas other schools only had one period of science. There are other schools like Arts High School in Newark where they had a double period of art. It was a focus on art, which is fine. So one thing I noticed that's missing from the curriculum, and keep in mind, I know there are Catholic schools where, because I went to Catholic school for elementary school, where there's actually a subject called religion. I don't mean it to sound, basic, like I'm trying to be condescending. No, what I mean is, in regular public school, there's not a 45-minute or an hour set aside for religion. Whereas in Catholic school, there's literally, like, you have math, science, English, religion, as opposed to in public school, you may not have that. But one thing I think that should be included in the curriculum, and here's the way I would include this in the curriculum, I will actually require the students, whether you're in elementary school or in high school or even in college, to include a requirement for self-development. The reason I think that's extremely important, because what I've noticed, and I've been blessed in that I didn't have that, of course, in high school, elementary school, but because where I grew up in Newark in the ghetto, my mom really pushed the idea that the only way I was going to change my situation, the only way I was going to get out of the ghetto is to bust my butt and stay in school and just work hard. She instilled some things in me long before I even knew who Tony Robbins was, long before I knew who John Maxwell was. It was my mom who really pushed me, and listening to other people like Miss Doris Holmes, like Mr. Brent Ferran, who really pushed me and put those same ideals that I hear state about some of the self-development gurus. And I honestly believe, and I'm doing this for my daughter. My daughter doesn't like this, and she hates it that I do this, but I'm very, 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 very talkative. And I talk to her all the time about how she needs to develop the gift of discipline. She needs to develop a love for learning, that it doesn't matter how good somebody else in your class is. The only thing that's going to set you apart from other people in your class who may be talented is hard work. That's the only equalizer. My daughter gets annoyed that I play Eric Thomas. Literally in the house, I'm playing Eric Thomas. I'm Tony Robbins. Ask my daughter, say the word Eric Thomas around my daughter. She will roll her eyes, because she knows I'm always playing that, because she's always talking about, oh yeah, I feel discouraged. That even though my daughter is doing well, we have her in enrichment programs where the math problems are extremely challenging for her, but because these enrichment programs, math problems are challenging for her, when she goes back to the regular curriculum, she's acing her normal schoolwork, so that now my daughter is in the honors program. But she's too much comparing herself to this other extra program. I tell my daughter, we're trying to kick your butt. We're trying to bust your butt right now in this academic stuff that's extra, so when you come back to the regular school, look at you now, you're in the honors program. So my suggestion for you, is some of you parents out there, and I'm included in this, I'm with you guys, I'm not a teacher, I'm actually your colleague right now, is make sure you sit down with your son and daughter and talk to them about the tenets of discipline, hard work, how to not just positive think, about how to take that energy and put it towards action, that it's okay to fail, it's okay to feel comfortable being uncomfortable. What they have to do is, if you want to I could go on and on and on, and I don't want to be too focused, but my main point in this Doc Beast Daily today is sit down at least once a week or once a month with your son and daughter, and don't talk about academics. Don't talk about, the math problem, the science, the history. Just sit down and talk with them about something very focused, such as discipline, hard work, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, listening to people like Tony Robbins, Eric Thomas, Les Brown. You know, you could go on YouTube and type in the word motivation, and you'll get tons of motivational videos. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the guy could barely speak English. And there's very few people who I know who's been successful in 3 realms. But he's been successful in sports, movies, and politics. Barely speaking English. Are you kidding me? Okay, so you need to talk to your sons and daughters. Don't just say, rah, 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 you graduated. Yeah, you graduated. Yeah. They're not going to be successful with that degree if they're walking around in the world and the minute they meet a difficult time that they decide to quit. They're not going to be successful with that graduate degree. I don't care where they got their degree from. I don't care if they went to the most selective little high school, you know, in their area. I don't care if they went to an Ivy League school. If they don't have the power or discipline when it comes to the next step, whether that's in graduate school or whether it's in corporate America or whether it's as an entrepreneur, they're not going to be successful. They're not going to be successful. I have friends who went to schools. I have friends who did not get a formal college education who are much more successful than some of my Ivy League friends. There's some of my degreed friends who have masters and PhDs. I have friends who don't have degrees. I know one woman who does not have a college degree, and I don't want to say her name because I don't want to misquote. I don't even think she has a high school diploma. She's making 6 digits a year as an entrepreneur. Okay, of course, doing the Beachbody business, I don't feel like I'm advertising it, but that just shows she has the drive, the tenacity, the discipline. She's not afraid to be comfortable, uncomfortable being uncomfortable to make this work. More successful than some of my other friends who have all these fancy degrees and Ivy Leagues because she reads self-development literally every day. She's reading something for for Brian Tracy, John Maxwell, whatever, every single day. And she's not afraid to be uncomfortable. So don't just celebrate your little one being successful, graduating from 4th grade to kindergarten. It's okay that they graduated, but you need to instill you need to instill in them the power to be able to take what they learn. See, if I gave you a bunch of tools and you don't know how to use them, you're not going to be successful. What's the use of me giving you a hammer and saw if you don't know how to use it? What academic does, it gives you all the technical tools. But if you don't have what it is in here to hold your head up high and go every day to work and hold yourself with integrity, despite people putting you down because you're a woman, or people putting you down because you're black, or people putting you down because you're homosexual, or people putting you down because you're Muslim. If you don't have the tenacity to still say, I'm going to stay professional, I'm going to be the best, fill in the blank that I can be, and be better than all of them and not stoop to their level, you're not going to be successful. You need to teach that to your kids now. Now. The minute my daughter comes home and talks about, oh, daddy, I can't do this, she knows it's coming. The lecture is coming. Keep in mind, my mom used to talk to us for 2 hours at a time. My sister would fall asleep. So please, do your graduating little one a favor and talk to them about self-development. Have them read and watch YouTube. Read. The reason I prefer that they read, the only reason I'm throwing in YouTube, because we live in a day and age where everybody wants this technology and YouTube and all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'd much rather have them get it in somehow than not at all. But I prefer for them to read. But if they're going to watch YouTube, let them watch YouTube, but don't stop there. We need them to pick up these books and read. You cannot replace reading Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, John Maxwell. You can't replace that, Danny Johnson. So let's get it going with your graduating life. That's the best gift. Fuck these cars, these whatever you're giving your kid, jewelry, a trip, or fuck all that. Give them the gift of love for self-development. Peace.